Welcome to Survivor NSFW. I'm here with Zack Hacker Jonny Fairplay. This is Survivor NSFW covering a show that I wouldn't typically watch. Zack wouldn't typically watch. Jonny Fairplay maybe would watch. But I want to tell you something, guys. It's funny because I think I might have told Zack this. I know I've told Jonny this. Up until maybe 2 days ago, I literally don't think my wife Tessa has ever listened to a Survivor NSFW podcast that I've ever done. She might have heard me in the net because she lives with me, right? It's like she doesn't need to fucking hear me talk. She hears me talk all the time. But she actually has been, walking in the neighborhood and she's like, you know what? I'm going to start listening to your podcast. So she listens to one you and I did, Zack.
Well, sweet.
Yeah. She's listened to the Ream Daily one, the Marcus one, and then the Labor of Love one. And she actually really likes it. And she's like, because she always hears Jonny and I bantering, but she's like, that Zack guy is really cool. I was like, yeah. I was worried. I was like, no, he is. I was like, he's one of our patrons. I was like, he's a teacher, dude. He's got his own. I was telling all about your deal. So,
yeah, see, I'm not worried about the podcast now. I'm worried about Zack stealing my rights to Tessa.
Hey, I'm in Cincinnati, man. Watch out.
I know it's easier.
But she was complimenting your the way you speak and articulate yourself, and then of course she's got a list a mile long of things I need to improve on. But that's Tessa for you.
Oh, I'll give her my list.
but
just highlight them.
But I'm actually pretty stoked. I know you, but dude, I'm still. Well, first of all, if you guys haven't noticed, Survivor NSFW listeners, this is Jonny Fairplay's beard. I have Phil from the Survivor Specialist who just shaved his, supposedly on its way to me. So
I saw. You know why he shaved, right?
Because of the fucking podcast with Michelle. Is that what you think? Yeah. Why? Okay. He claimed his girlfriend didn't like it or something like that.
Yeah. His imaginary girlfriend Michelle. Yeah, and
dude.
Apparently, Max Dawson didn't like.
Oh God,
the one he little spoons with.
So now I originally wanted to get a bunch of my Survivor buddies beards, but I'm thinking now, what if I just hit up podcasters? So like I get Zack's beard. Maybe I see if Rob C will shave his beard because he grows them from time to time. Get Rob C's beard, get Russell Hans's beard. It'll be fun. But Jonny Fairplay has got a big week ahead of him. He's been doing a lot of podcasts.
Caused by the podcast. So peek behind the curtain, me and Zack did a Micronesia, Survivor Micronesia Fans versus Favorites 1 reunion podcast on Monday night. And Chet, who was one of the fans, awesome guy, love him. Haven't caught up with him in forever, and he was just like, "Come to my farm." Mikey B's been to my farm twice, and Eliza's been to my farm. And everyone in the chat had been to his farm. I'm guessing Zack has been a couple times. I felt like the only one that hasn't, and like there was a couple times where I tried. I was in Pittsburgh for a wedding, and Chet was out of town, and so that it. Just our timing hasn't worked out. And I'm just like, you know what? Fuck this, man. Like I can go. Like we're in the middle of a pandemic. This is the perfect. And I was just like, hey, is it? And he's like, yeah, it's cool here. So I'm going. I'm bringing the 2 new members of my family. I adopted two little brothers for Piper and Madeline. Their names are Newt and
Neville.
Thank you. I don't know the names.
Big Harry Potter fan.
Yes, I don't know the names of my new kids. But yeah, we got 2 gerbils, and they're very nice. And we got the thing with the tubes and the wheel, and they love the wheel, and they love toilet paper tubes. Oh my God, they are so happy. And we got the ball. And we got a new twist on the ball. All right, so the hamster ball things that they run around in that they love, right?
Yeah.
So we got that, but we got this circular track, so that if you don't want the fucking ball just going all around your fucking house all willy nilly, you just put and it just goes in a circle.
Oh, that's cool. Hell yeah.
Boom.
That's
How
dope.
cool is that?
Genius.
So,
That is cool.
but did run into a little trouble in paradise. I only bought one ball because I'm just like, they'll fucking take. I think they would both like to do the ball at the same time. Not on the track, of course.
Yeah.
Be a fucking nightmare.
Oh shit.
But yeah, no, and I've never had hamsters, never wanted hamsters, never liked hamsters. But we did all the research, and supposedly gerbils are the smartest of the rodent clan. Like if you have the right ones, when you give them a treat, they'll wink at you.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, just be honest, Johnny Fairplay. You heard the Richard Gere.
I'm all in.
Gerbils up
Trust me. The toilet paper tubes will also have another purpose. No, it's I went into this extremely reluctantly, and they're so far so good. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, dudes.
But I got to say, so I watched a little bit of last week's episode. I don't like I think I had a podcast Thursday night, another podcast I had to do. Oh no, I had to do this Sequester secret alliance.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That worked out fucking great. So, anyone wondering, go Patreon and you'll hear a pissed off Johnny Fairplay talk all about his pissed off time on a pissed off episode of Sequester. Pissed offness. Yes, it was great. So, but yeah, we had a secret alliance meeting that could have skipped that one. That would have been a-okay. But and also we Zach hosted that, and so check out both of those on Patreon. They're a lot of fun. Despite the pissed offness, it was a lot good times to be had by everyone. But so I just watched a little bit last week. So I watched the first episode tonight, and then I watched the second episode.
Yes.
And even though I'm here with you guys short term this evening, oh my God, do I have some fucking thoughts. So I know Marcus and I know Matt Stryker, and I sent you guys a picture of Matt Stryker's dick.
Yes.
Thanks for that.
Unfortunately, yeah.
So we in the wrestling biz, we call him Pepsi Can Matt. Because his dick's soft is like as big as a fucking Pepsi can. It's pretty strong.
Yeah.
So there's all kinds. So plenty of wrestling stories about Matt Stryker. But I will say this: whenever I would go to WWE shows and the guys would be leaving, and I was waiting to talk to whatever wrestling friend or the camera guys, or I know lots of people in the world of wrestling. So when I would be waiting on the side for whoever that person I was going to talk to afterwards, several times. Oh, thanks, Michelle. Michelle Obama says I look cute tonight. So the hair's still there. So next time you see me, I'll have a mullet. June 1st, I'm getting a mullet haircut. So, but every time Matt Stryker is always one of the first ones to come out, and every time Matt would walk over and be like, "Fairplay, what's up?" and chat for 5 minutes or whatever. He's like, "Hey, who are you waiting for?" And I was like, "So and so." He's like, "Cool, you need me to get him?" I'm like, "Nah, they're coming. No rush, whatever." And actually, one time, Chris Jericho was behind him, and oh wow, Matt's beard is as long as Michelle Obama's wiener. I thought it, but I didn't. I wouldn't have put money on it. Just going with the comments there. But so Jericho was behind me one time, and it was just like, "Hey," I was like. Can you see if Jericho will do a quick pick with me? And I was like, and he's like, "Are you guys cool?" And I was just like, I don't think so, but just a quick pick. I mean, what's it really gonna hurt? And somebody was like, "Cool." And so he goes over and he comes back. He's like, "Yeah, he's not gonna do that picture." I was like, "Yeah, I didn't think it," but it was cool of him to ask. And then after that, Matt Stryker leaves WWE, or really whatever terms that there were on that. Matt and I worked several indie appearances in like in the Pacific Northwest and other places, and super cool guy. He likes the ladies, and I think that's kind of documented. I was looking up to see how documented, because I didn't want to talk out of school. Like Patreon, I'll probably say a little more, but I'm looking. He did a podcast I don't know the date of this, but he talks about that he struggles with depression, social anxiety, and that he was sexually abused at the age of 9.
Oh wow, that sucks. I wonder if that's going to be brought up. He seems like a really cool guy in this. Like, honestly, like there's a lot of douchebag guys here. But as
Well,
far as Matt goes, I mean, he seems like nice enough. You know what I mean?
he was rocking a leather sport coat at one point.
Well, yeah. I'm not talking about his
Okay,
style.
okay,
I'm just saying
and-
about his character.
and he has been seen in baggy jeans more than once. So
like, are they baggy jeans with the bedazzled cross on the back pocket?
There's some stitching on the back
Yeah.
pocket that is very unnecessary.
Yeah. Maybe like a affliction T-shirt, possibly.
I'm more than positive there has been affliction T-shirts in a closet, but I refer to all additional stitching on the back pocket as bedazzling. So,
Yeah.
it doesn't require glittering or sequence of any sort. Just any additional stitching does constitute bedazzling. So yes, Matt Stryker was wearing bedazzled baggy jeans. So
it brings up a good question though. How much is Christy able to Google these guys while she's in the house? Because Matt, Marcus, you'd assume they mentioned I was in wrestling, I was on Survivor. She can find a lot of information on some of these guys.
I think she knows about the Survivor thing with Marcus because she was just like, he's good looking, he's a doctor, he's adventurous.
Right.
And I think adventurous was a kind of a wink to the audience saying, hey, I know he was on Survivor, but this show is on Fox.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think hands down, it seems just looking at this episode as a whole, Marcus is, she's down with Marcus basically.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, she chose, Matt and went on a date. I mean, the first two guys that she ended up picking in this episode to go on those dates with was Marcus and Matt. But dude, so I want
real super quick. I got some rumor and innuendo.
About what?
Holy moly. All right. So we have a patron.
Yes.
That's a female. Actually, shockingly, half of our patrons are female. So if you guys are thinking about going a Survivor NSFW Patreon, go to patreon.com/Survivor NSFW. You get added to the secret Patreon Facebook group. And you'll see really quickly, it's probably 50-50 male and female. Mm-hmm. Well, a female patron of ours has been on Tinder in the New York area. Mm-hmm. And got swiped right by Mario.
Oh, really?
Yes. And she ended up blocking him.
Wow.
And I was like, why?
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm not. She was like, dude, this is not, absolute. Mm-hmm. But if memory serves correct, and there's huge plausible deniability here. Mm-hmm. Maybe made some rapey jokes.
Really?
Oh, Mario.
Yeah.
So once again, not could have been another Mario. The field, the profession lined up perfectly.
Yeah.
He's lined up perfectly.
Yeah.
But she said, she's blocked, plenty of people on Tinder.
Right.
So they're but if bullet to gun to the head, rapey jokes.
Yeah. He's like that guy. He did not impress me very much. But dude,
let me impress one of our patrons with this rapey joke.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Hey guys, because once again we have kind of 50-50 on our listenership and viewership. Guys, if you're on Tinder and you're looking for, you're just like, oh my God, I'm watching this labor of love show, maybe to get some hints, hey, follow up podcast. Girls don't like rapey jokes. They're against them.
Yeah, that guy sounds like an idiot. But you know who's even a bigger idiot? BUDGE I want to talk about this guy. I mean, this guy claims to be this.
Is it Booge or Budge?
Budge,
Budge.
okay, Budge, whatever. Listen,
Huge.
Budge, Budge, poverty. This motherfucker says, he says, I'm a conservative American. I go to bed early. I wake up early. I like structure.
Yeah.
And he makes a comment in the beginning of the episode, like, if there's some sort of activity, he's like, I'm not going to skydive or bungee jump or anything like that.
I'm not going to do anything to win this chick over.
Yeah, this motherfucker, dude, out of all these guys, seems like the most lame douchebag, loser type guy that I've ever seen. And the thing that's crazy to me is she seemed like he was, at the first impression of him, was someone that she was into. So I'm like, if Marcus Lehman ends up coming over to my house in a month or whatever when the show's over with Christy, I'm gonna have to pull him aside and say, dude, you might be in love with this chick, but she fucking liked Budgie Booge fucking right away. So she obviously can't be the one. Because Budge Booge guy is another guy that seems like he would wear fucking bedazzled jeans. I mean, this guy,
for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, yeah. So hey, we just got a patron.
Fuck yeah. I mean, all these guys are getting ready for the date, and they're getting, dressed up in their suits, and they find out when they pull up in the limo that they're at a campground, more or less. And it does look pretty cold. I mean,
it seems like it's colder than they initially planned for it to be. It seems like they got there and they were like, oh shit, this is not good. Yeah. And you see them later with the Carhartt jackets. So, they're each, given one. I think that was
an afterthought.
I think it's one of those deals where they were just like, hey guys, everybody just sit in the cars for about 90 minutes, and we're gonna.
There's a Sears nearby. We're gonna go pick up some.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not anti Carhartt jackets, but I'm not really super pro Carhartt jacket. It is what it is. But we later on in the episode, we see one of the guys one guy still rocking the Carhartt jacket. He's just like, "Hey, this is a nice jacket." I mean, I brought some okay shit, but this is new and it's clean.
I think this date scenario or group setting, I mean, to me, the camp situation is awesome. There's a fire pit. It's a badass tent deal, and there's a fake bear, which I thought was super funny. And so it was almost, Johnny, like when you play Survivor, they give you a little bit of Survivor school at this pregame house before the game starts.
Not Johnny Fair. I'm the only two-time player to have never gone to Survivor school.
Wow. So
in the history of the game.
Why is that?
For Pearl Islands, we jumped off the boat.
Mm-hmm.
And we did our press in Miami, not Panama.
Mm-hmm.
So none of us, no one on Pearl Islands got Survivor School.
Okay.
And then when I went back for fans versus favorites, they gave the fans Survivor School, but they even discussed potentially doing it for us. They're just like, oh, you guys have already had it. And I'm like, I've never had it. They're like, what? Go ask somebody.
Wow, that's fascinating.
So I would imagine the only other one, the only other ones that have returned,
probably Savage.
Savage was the only other two-timer. So, but he may have, who knows? But Sandra's played more than once or more than twice, and Rupert's played more than twice. So, but otherwise, I'm the only two-time player in the history of the show that never went through Survivor School.
So, if you're not familiar with it, you guys, when you play Survivor, at least for Caramoan, we were at a pregame house. Season. Yeah. So, and they teach you how to make fire. They had this tribe guy come in, and they show you how to weave palm fronds. They say, stay away from this tree or leaf.
Yeah. You can eat this. You can't eat that. Don't eat that animal because that animal supposedly does, production later told us, there's these green apple things. They're like, you can't eat those. They're poisonous. And they're like, and if you see an iguana, if it's black, that means it eats these poisonous things that doesn't kill them, but they can kill you. But don't eat that black iguana because that can kill you. But if you see a green iguana, it's okay. I saw 300 black iguana. I saw one green one at the side of the like barely in eye view, and he basically gave me the finger and then took off. Like, really?
But this whole deal before they go to town on these dates, a ranger comes out and gives them a warning about the possible bear. So it was kind of like Survivor School.
My friend Chet from Survivor Micronesia, he I think he said don't worry about bears, he's into them.
So after the ranger sets that up, Budgie Booge, whatever, says he's gonna quit, and then it cut to commercial, and I was like, did he just quit? Is that it actually?
I thought that he was quitting.
Yeah.
I said this guy, be a team player, dude. You're on a reality television show and you're bitching and complaining that, I mean, this guy's the biggest fucking pussy I've ever seen. Really. I mean, I can't stand this guy. This is the same guy.
Angered at dating shows.
I mean, I'm like, what is going on with these douche guys? Like, and of course, this guy will probably have his own dating show.
No one will ever see Budge again.
Oh yeah, Budge is terrible. But then we come back from commercial, and I saw Budge in the group of guys, so he actually didn't quit. But Christy ends up picking Mario. She picks Mario, who Johnny told the story about earlier in this podcast, as her first guy, and this is a conversation that they have that ends up biting him in the ass at the end of the episode, which I personally don't think it was a big fucking deal, right? He says, they're talking about having kids and, I kind of want 2 boys. And she says that she wants girls, right? That's kind of all.
Whatever.
Well, I think she asked him. She said, "Are you open to it being whatever?" And he doubled down, I think, a little too strongly. Yeah. But he said, "No, I really want boys."
And I think she qualified her follow-up statement with, her father had all girls, and everyone's just like, "Oh, that sucks," or man, and so I get it. I mean, I have 2 girls, and people are just like, "Ooh, fair play," and I'm just like, well, A, it's God paying me back for being the guy that I am, and B, I'm so I wouldn't change anything. Like I have
you love your children. Like if I had girls, I would love them just as much. I just wouldn't be making booty jokes every 5 seconds like I do with my boys.
I don't think I would be happy. Like I love my girls. I mean, I always thought, I thought I would have no kids, and just, thank you, Blue Chew. but if I did have a kid, I was just like, okay, 1 boy. And now I'm just like, man, I'm like, thank you for working shit out. So no, would not change anything.
And I think that as my feeling before I was a parent is all I gave a shit about was a healthy child. I just, that's all I gave a fuck about.
Well, once you're having a kid, that shit, it changes real quick. It's just like, oof, 10 fingers, 10 toes, 10 fingers, 10 toes, 10 fingers, 10 toes.
I know. It's crazy. So, she kind of gets
speaking of, do you know who was really excited to have 10 fingers at the end of the episode? This fucking Mario. That's his immediate reaction to get eliminated. I got all my fingers.
Oh, yeah. He was definitely, Mario was definitely not bummed out per se.
He just needed a new Tinder profile pic with labor of love at the bottom of the fucking screenshot.
He did. And after this day with Mario, we have Angelo next, and he shares the information. He's the tattletale guy.
He spilled the tea.
He did. He spilled the tea about BUDGE. Kind of BUDGE is a jackass. When I keep all my notes say this, and telling her how that one guy Alan doesn't know her name, I mean, I didn't know a lot of people's names in the first fucking 5 days of being on Survivor. It was like you'd be in a confessional and you'd be like, it was me and what's that other blonde chick's name? It's hard.
Yeah.
I'm terrible with names.
I called Sandra, I think, for most of Pro Islands.
Yeah. So in that dude's defense, I mean, I don't think that's too much of a big deal.
Well, which got like Joe Mena, Joe Mena, on my podcast, I called him Joe Mina the entire fucking season. And then I finally talked to him at the end of the season. And or no, I think Sex Doctor Michael's just his last name is Mena, right? And I'm just like, no, I'm just like, why? He's like, he doesn't want to ruffle feathers. He's not gonna say anything.
Yeah.
And I'm just
we thought Tony Vlachos is Vlachos, but we call him Tony Nachos.
It's Nachos.
Yeah, he should change it.
I have a T-shirt that proves that. JohnnyFairplay.com. Order a T-shirt and add to the 1,000 phone calls I need to make this weekend. Hopefully,
Angelo is he's not somebody I'm kind of all about. But Matt, here's the next scene. He is telling her why he really wants to be there. They're kind of starting this conversation. And all of a sudden he's like, oh my God, there's a bear. And I thought it was fucking hilarious. He got up and tried to scare the bear away, just like the ranger said. And I think
how the Rangers.
Yeah, he was legitimately. So Matt, right?
Yeah.
Jonny Fairplay, do you think that he thought that was a real bear initially?
I think, part of me wants to say for 2 seconds, but another part, I remember having conversations with Matt about him asking me about Survivor.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just what's real, what's fake, they try to manipulate you. I've seen on some other, so he's familiar with the TV process.
Right.
So I'm thinking that he would kind of see, he's just oh, they're gonna do a fucking fake bear. So I want to think he believed it for 2 seconds and did the heroic thing, but if not, he did it right. I mean, as I said, it wasn't that difficult to just repeat what they were fucking shown, and apparently no one else figured that out.
No, they didn't. And the funny thing is if you guys ever want to go back, and I sing in a band called Moonbow, we have a song called War Bear, and there's a video you can search on YouTube for War Bear. And we actually, in our video shoot, we had a dude dressed up in a fucking bear costume. So I was laughing. I was there's some fucking dude in this bear. I thought it was fucking hilarious.
Big props to the bear costume guy. He was doing that all night. Had to just be exhausting. He was pretty funny too when he made it into
who's this
Alan.
The South African guy. That was the.
Yeah, he was up next.
That was probably my favorite part of the episode.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He was funny. The bear sits down and starts warming his hands by the fire and hugging him and shit. I mean, he explains before the bear situation with Alan, he explains to her, hey, the calling her the wrong name situation. He's someone said some name. I mean, giving this guy the benefit of the doubt, I get it. I would probably forget this chick's name as well. Maybe not, but she seems to maybe forgive him a little bit. But I think
he's the hottest dude.
Yeah, he is. Plus, he's got that South African accent.
Yeah. So no, I mean, and he's got 8 zillion sperm in him. What the guy calling later King Sperm.
And then they after the bear incident with him, they breeze through everybody else. I was kind of waiting to see Marcus.
But how great was it? So the bear comes, and instead of the get, he does the stop, drop, and roll.
Yeah.
And he gets her down, and I'm just like, oh my God. Mm-hmm. And the guy in the bear suit is fucking losing it.
Oh, yeah. I wish we could find the guy in the bear suit and have him on our podcast.
Oh, that'd be a fun mission.
Jury's available. I would like to think that he's dead now. and like kind of like the chair model on Office that Michael was in.
So what do you think after this whole camping deal?
Well, real quick, Matt. One of the highlights from the montage for me was I think Trent's only time he got on the screen, which I think Trent is a runner-up with Budge for the biggest douchebag on the show right now. But he says he's going to run away and let Christy get eaten by the bear. He only has to outpace her, but she'll forgive him because he has a big something that gets bleeped out.
Oh God!
What an asshole! Like,
I'm not down with that guy at all either. I'm really not. He's like, as you said, he wasn't even a factor in this episode at all. Him and the drinking, drunk Southern guy. He's not really much in this episode either.
Yeah. Well, he makes his presence felt next week.
Oh God. Oh yeah.
No. What you call Trent? Trent does have the haircut of a 12-year-old, so there is that. He's he's 49 with a 12-year-old's haircut. So.
He's a big fan of capris too. He wears a lot of capris.
He does like. Hey, I there's a couple of capris in my office. On that note, I gotta go pack for tomorrow. I gotta go see Chet. Guys, you're kicking butt. I don't know why, because I never listen to old podcasts that I'm a part of. And I try to avoid most of them with Zach and Matt. I not only watched you guys' podcasts of Labor of Love episode 1, I listened to it too.
Wow!
What an honor!
What is going on in my life? Yeah. Why did I need to relive this? I think I was scared that I wouldn't have, like, if I was going to join you on episode 2, I was scared I wouldn't have time to watch episode 1. So I was like, okay, let me get it here. And like, I was probably doing something while watching. And then like, it showed up on my feed on my phone while I was running. I'm just like, well, might as well listen to it too to make sure. Thank you. You took 2 hours of my life that I will never get back.
Oh, right on. Well, safe travels, Fairplay.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, have fun.
Man.
See you guys next week.
Sounds good. So, Trent is a total douche. So after this whole deal, Zach, the guys are kind of talking, and they start talking about the situation of what's his name? The guy who fucking was the snitch. What's his name?
Angelo.
Yeah. So Angelo is the one that ends up, telling Christy all this stuff, but everyone's kind of like, who's saying this shit? Like, BUDGE is kind of annoyed about it. And the one dude was like, dude, it's pretty much gameplay. So do you think that that's actual game? Do you think these people are smart enough to even know what gameplay is?
Yeah, I think for Angelo, definitely. However, whether he's thinking about playing a game or if it's just some sort of like primal snitching capacity that he has, he's just throwing those guys under the bus to make himself look better. But I think it came across the opposite. I think that Christy reacted more negatively towards Angelo and quickly forgave the other guys about it. So
I do too.
Bad move.
Yeah, it was a bad move. And I want to ask you again, throughout this episode, we talked about it last week, you see little confessional type interviews with the family and relatives of the contestants. Yeah, I still am not a big fan of this. It just seems slightly out of place. I mean, in theory, I think it's cool. Like if I'm on a dating show and my mom is like, oh, my son was, this, I knew as a little kid, he was going to grow up to be a great father one day. I understand the concept, but I don't think it's coming across that well on television. What's your take?
No, they're very randomly placed. I think if they had anything to do with what was going on the screen, I'd be into it. I have 2 exceptions. Number 1 was we saw Mario's family, I think. And I don't know what the hell his dad was wearing. It was an oversized pink striped shirt with a teal vest. And it's like he's got 3 buttons undone with the chest hair popping out and the gold chain. I love it. I hope he talks a lot more. Well, he's gone now, so we won't see him anymore. That's a bummer.
Yeah.
And then we got to see Marcus's mom, and she was hilarious. So
that is something I definitely had a note about that. I've hung out with Marcus on multiple occasions. I've seen Marcus on social media kind of hanging out with his mom. I've never met his mom, and I really didn't know a whole bunch about her, but she makes a really sweet comment like, I love my little boy or something. It was cool. I like her a lot.
Yeah, she says he's really romantic. He didn't get that from me, which is good.
Yeah.
Do you know where her accent's from? I didn't realize his mom.
No, I that was a first. Marcus and I have never talked about that, and so yeah, I don't know, but
Cool.
I thought she was cool. So at this point, she goes to the house to pick two guys for dates. You got Matt and you have Marcus, and she takes Budge, whatever I don't even know what the fuck his name is anymore.
Let's go with Budge. Screw him.
Okay, yeah, he takes Budge outside to talk, and she confronts him about him like wanting to leave the house, and he's still a fucking douche. Like he acts like he's not a team player. Like I said, you're playing a dating show. Like even if I'm not down with something, I'm gonna fucking do whatever it takes on the show. I mean, in the first episode, I believe Budge was the same guy that was like not the guy drinking. Wasn't
he was the water guy. Yep.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I don't need to party. So, not that you have to party, but it's like, come on, dude. Like, you're anti-camping. You refuse to have a cocktail. You go to bed early. Fucking, you just want this. You know, he make a comment later on about if they have kids. You know, there's going to be a toy room, and that's how I grew up, organized. Give it up, dude. You have little kids. When my kids were little, the whole fucking living room and house was a fucking toy room. There's all these little toys and things to do. It's like, that's what your life becomes. And then as they get older, you know, we have a finished basement and it's fucking badass. And my boys live down there. But when they're little, your whole life becomes that. And I know you and I talked about I don't think you want to have kids, because it is a lot of work, and you got to become totally cannot be selfish when it comes to having kids. And especially like my wife's a saint because she's got patience for days and years. When there's a kid, you know, crying fucking hours on end and you're sleep deprived, it is very hard. And I think Budge is the kind of guy that would fucking fly off the handle and just be like, Christy, I'm going to bed. You take care of this child. I think the guy's a dick.
Oh, I do too. There's some symmetry with him and Mario, though, of the stuff that's pissing her off and the stuff that's showing them as being kind of unyielding. Both of them are like, this is what it was like when I was growing up. That's what I want, and I refuse to compromise on anything. Like, I was one of two boys. I'm having two boys. I grew up in a neat and tidy household. I will have a neat and tidy household. Like, have some flexibility. Like, what the hell?
I understand how people grow up a certain way, and you see this in life. Like, at least I know, like the kids that were like rich kids in high school, if I see them on Facebook, they end up getting these fucking crazy, amazing jobs, and they're rich as fuck, you know, now, you know. But you got to be your own person and create your own path, and especially if you're gonna jump into fatherhood and being a husband, you got to make some compromises. But we see Matt is on the first date with Christy. She's saying how she feels super comfortable around Matt. She likes his sincerity, and she thinks he's the perfect husband, dad material. Now, he's a totally different kind of guy than, let's say, Marcus. What do you feel about Matt? Looking at the two of them, I mean, you got a relationship, you've seen other people's relationships. Do you see chemistry between them at this point?
I do. I think he does a really good job of listening to her and communicating really, like, their communication is really good. Whereas some of the other guys has felt more like an interrogation, almost a back and forth. They feel like they're really listening to each other and having a conversation when they're talking. And he seems genuine. Like when she's talking about, she brings up a really, really heavy moment that she was there in Nice during the 2016 terrorist attacks. Mm-hmm. And, I think just seeing their faces and the way he reacted to her sharing this, this tragedy that she lived through and this different side of her. I think that showed the strength of their relationship.
I thought the same thing. I mean, I know they edit these shows, but he seemed very concerned and heartfelt reaction about that. When they like clip to a camera, he's kind of looking at her. And I think, they got these cameras filming you on this dating show. That's got to be awkward. But I think in moments like that, you have these true human interactions, and we see that. And that was pretty interesting for her to come out and talk about that terrorist attack. And she says, after that happened, I realized I'm going to just go for it in life. I'm not going to let anything hold me down. If I can get through this, I can get through anything. And that's kind of like during this whole quarantine shit that we've had and whatever, I think my experience on Survivor helped me to deal with this scenario that we've all been living in easier, because I lived on an island. I was away from my kids, and you have to sacrifice and adapt. And that's kind of what my family had been doing this whole time. So, seeing moments like with Matt and her, it was nice. And she seems to really like him. It ends with a fireworks show, and they end up kissing, and he claims that this is the best date of his life. And I think it was a success for both of them.
I think so too. Yeah, I liked it. I liked learning a little bit more about Christy. I think that might be one of the show's weaknesses so far, is that I don't know a whole lot about her.
Yeah.
But I think hearing about that experience that she had and her growing from that and how that inspired her to be where she's at, to want to have a family and take the time to seize the moments in life. I like that, learning a little bit about her past.
Right on. Next, we have Marcus, which is date number 2. She loves Marcus's sophisticated, demeanor. She obviously had an immediate attraction from when the show started. You could tell Marcus is a good looking dude. On paper, he's the anesthesiologist. He's adventurous, as Jonny Fairplay said. Maybe she knows he was on Survivor. Maybe she doesn't. He's successful, and he's just a sincere, nice guy. And they get to go on a basketball date. So they go to the basketball game. They have a VIP lounge. I guess they were jerseys. One of them said, what did it say? Did you catch
said,
that?
Like future mom and future dad, or mom to be and future dad.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
And they were on the jumbotron as they walked in. It said, "Welcome, Christy."
Yeah. Did you catch where this basketball game?
It was the Atlanta Hawks.
Okay.
So they're filming in Georgia, I believe. So
okay,
Atlanta
cool.
Hawks.
Okay, cool. Atlanta Hawks. And she loves Marcus on paper. And so they're having fun at this VIP lounge. They got food, and Marcus makes a comment like, this will be at a pretty expensive date, even with an anesthesiologist's salary, it probably would be. And then they show the kiss cam. And this is kind of awkward, because I'm like, does Marcus go for it or does he not? And I think they might have cut to commercial, so it's like a cliffhanger, like what's going to happen? So when they actually show this, he ends up kissing her cheek, which is exactly probably what I would have done. If I'm in that scenario, I might have even kissed her on the lips, like just give her a little smooch. I wouldn't be trying to like stick my tongue down her throat. Yeah, I know people are wanting to see that maybe on the jumbotron for drama, but Marcus says that he ends up feeling like an 8-year-old boy or a little kid when it comes to kissing a hot girl. Marcus definitely, we see him say, I think this chick's hot, and it kind of makes him a little bit nervous. But you can tell after this date, Zach, that she really, really digs Marcus. And I'm trying to compare, like, what are your thoughts comparing Marcus to Matt? They're two totally different type of guys. And who do you think out of those two that she's more fond of at this moment in the show?
I see more chemistry between her and Marcus. It's a little bit more romantic. I feel like, Marcus's mom says he's really romantic there. I see that too. They're dancing in the box. that seemed like a really magical moment. Also, they get to go out. I think there's something about going out versus staying in also that's a little bit more romantic that we get to see.
Yeah.
I think he played the kiss cam thing perfectly. That was a little bit of a lose-lose if he goes in for too big of a kiss or doesn't kiss her, but they saved the real kisses for when they got home. So I thought that was two thumbs up from me.
Marcus is a gentleman. I don't think Marcus is the kind of guy that would ever try to overstep his boundaries with a woman. And he just showed his gentlemanly qualities at the end of the date. They do a little kiss and he walks back in with a smile on his face. And I thought it was a great date. I don't think that Marcus looked douchey whatsoever. I don't think it's because I know Marcus. I just think that he's coming across as just like a cool guy, just a likable, just cool dude. After this date, we go to a group meeting where Angelo confesses to the guys about his snitching. Why do you think that he had a come to Jesus moment to tell these guys why he did what he did?
I would love to know. I honestly think they probably figured out that it was him because they were starting to recreate the timeline. I can't remember who it was, maybe Matt or one of those guys said, when I met Christy, she told me this new information has just come to light. So he probably had the suspects down to like one or two guys and they were able to piece it together. So Angelo was probably coming clean with what most of the guys already suspected.
Do you think that was a smart move? Like, because at first I was like, I wonder if he's like the guilt trip that he's feeling over this situation is why he did that or not. Like I don't know if it was a good move or a bad move. The guys didn't seem super pissed about. I mean, they were like, "Oh, thanks for the apology," but I just don't think anyone really likes the Angelo guy.
I don't think so. I mean, the only people that really have anything to be pissed off about are like BUDGE and Allen. And I
love that we call him BUDGE. That's so awesome.
So yeah, the rest of the guys are just kind of shrugging, but they all say, I'm not going to forget. And I think, you just don't trust that guy.
Yeah. Yeah. So at this point, it's elimination time. And the way, if you guys did not catch episode 1 and you're just turning into episode 2 and how this elimination works, she has like an iPad type thing and she sits down and she can, drag the guy's face to the I need to talk to you column, which is those people are kind of up for elimination, or the continue dating column. So Marcus, I think, seemed a little bit bummed that he wasn't the first person to be dragged over into the keep dating column. But I don't think I could understand why he acted that way, but I don't think there was any rhyme or reason necessarily. Like the first guy I do is my number one pick. They don't want to put Marcus, Matt. They don't want to make it obvious. They want to switch it up. Who is she really digging, right?
Yeah.
But Marcus seemed kind of in his confessional like he was a little bit ticked off about that.
Yeah, I think it's cool they can watch the order that she's doing it live and can kind of see, or at least it seems live to us that they can see how that's going down. It's a pretty cool dynamic to see them kind of on the edge of their seat waiting to see who's going to get put up and whose profile she's opening and who she needs to see more about.
Oh, yeah, if I'm sitting there in the game on this show and I was up there, I would be nervous as hell.
Yeah.
It's like going to tribal council on Survivor. What's going to happen? Who's going to say what? So the need to talk column, there are 4 people that went to that column. We have Angelo, BUDGE, the douche. We have Matt, and we have Mario. So she first brings in Angelo, and he takes accountability for being a tattletale. And she says that she still wants to date this guy after all this. Now, I don't think this guy has a snowball's chance in hell of making it to the end of the game. But once the other guys, like he walks into the next room and then you see these confessionals of the other guys saying like, why is this dude still here?
Yeah. He walks back in the house and it is crickets. No one reacts.
Yeah. I mean, awkward as hell. And I don't get it too. Is she just physically attracted to this guy? Because
Which that's another red flag for Marcus. This dude is not a looker. I don't see it. Get him out of here.
Yeah, exactly. So then after Angelo, he's back to, he's in the dating pool still. We have BUDGE. And she says to him, like, you're one of the guys I originally was like, first impression, I was down. I thought you were hot. I thought you'd be this guy that I would want to be with. But she realizes quickly that he's not going to compromise on shit.
Yeah.
She actually had a brain here because she saw what we have talked about this whole episode, that this guy is just not a fun guy.
No, and then he talks a little bit more in fucking third person in his confessionals as he's leaving. I love when people do that. And thank God he's gone. I hope there's no reunion. We'll never see him again.
Yeah, I can't stand the guy. Then we have Mario, and she brings up again that it really bugged her when he said he wants to have the two boys, and she came from a family of girls. I mean, I still think that could be worked out a little bit, but as Johnny, when he was on the podcast earlier, was saying that one of our patrons was on Tinder, and this guy, I'm glad that there was red flags, because when this guy ends up going home, at least BUDGE was like courteous with her when he left.
Yeah.
I wish you the best of luck. I hope you find somebody, and I hope I find somebody for me. Not Mario. Mario's like, yeah, peace out. Like,
oh yeah. His exit words are insane. Like, he sounds like a crazy person. He says, hey, you know what? I came here. I'm leaving with all my fingers. I can still taste stuff. I can still smell stuff. What did he think was going to happen on this show?
I have no idea.
He was going to lose his senses and fingers? Like, why would you go on a show if you thought you might not come out with all your fingers?
I know. I think that this guy, it just proves that he's worthless as far as someone that could be a dad to her in this scenario and show. He's probably on Tinder trying to hook up with chicks, and as Johnny said, probably just wanted labor of love on his resume.
Oh yeah.
Finally, we got Matt, and he's kind of wondering, like, oh shit, like, why am I here? But this gives, it's like a cliffhanger and suspenseful drama section here where it's making him question, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? And I forget what her statement was. Maybe you remember. She said something, and then she says, like, I really loved our date. Because he said, I've been thinking about our date. I can't stop. Matt's saying, I can't stop thinking about our date.
Yeah, and she says, me too. I've been thinking a lot about what I want to talk to you about. And she totally bunks him. Yeah, totally messes with him. It's savage, but they end up very happy, and he's going back into the house on cloud nine.
And I'm happy for him. I mean, as far as looking at this group of guys, like I said, I feel weird even talking about a dating show. And I want to say it's funny. I was out on my patio, which I told my wife when my wife was like, man, you and Zach, like, she'd never like heard because you haven't even really done your new podcast yet. It has not been
released. Right. It hasn't dropped yet.
So she was making comments about you, and I was like, yeah, he lives in Cincinnati. And I was telling her about your Survivor puzzle and shit. And at some point, coming over and hanging out. And as we're watching it, everyone is outside tonight. It's a beautiful night. And we have this gorgeous covered patio. We got the TV out there. And I know all my neighbors kind of behind me I could hear them all hanging out. And we're like, they're probably like saying, what in the fuck is Matt and Tessa watching this stupid fucking show? But honestly speaking, as far as dating shows go, I tried to watch The Bachelorette with Jonny Fairplay before, and we were going to podcast about it, and I had to tap out. I'm going to make sure that I go through and watch this entire series with you. Seems like Johnny probably will be in and out, but if you're down, because honestly, it's kind of fun.
Yeah, I like it.
It's a different perspective, and I don't really watch a lot of shows in general, so it's cool, and it's going to be interesting to see how far Marcus goes, because Marcus at the end of this episode says something like, I'm planning on winning the day, the week, the month, and the forever or something.
Yeah, it seemed like an old school Survivor winners quote that he got at the end there, where you got Richard Hatch in the first episode saying the $1 million check's written. We've got Marcus at the end of the episode saying that he's going to be winning at the end of the month or whatever.
So I have a feeling that Marcus is going to go far. We're painting Marcus and Matt as pretty big characters. I think Alan could, if she can get over the fact of him miscalling her name or whatever, I think he could slide in there. But glad to see the guys who went home go home.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see if Marcus, I would like to have him maybe a finale party on my back patio, bro. Like maybe Marcus will be here with Christy.
And yeah, that would be incredible.
Maybe she'll have a baby bump or whatever. But yeah, man, Zach, thank you so much for joining me again. And this is, like I said, it's been really, really fun. It was funny too. Last week, my wife's like, Matt, were you fucking buzzed doing? I was like, I don't know. I had some PBRs tonight. I'm just drinking water, not because I want to, but because I ran out of fucking beer. So
I'm out of beer too. I'm drinking kombucha because I have no beer.
So tomorrow is a beer run. But you guys, Labor of Love on Fox. Our man Marcus Lehman from Survivor Gabon is on here and kicking ass. So Marcus, I hope you go far. And Zach,
and Matt, real quick, I got two more updates to throw in here.
Yeah, for sure.
From last week, we loved our buddy Moonrocks guy. I did some Instagram stalking. I found Moonrocks guy on Instagram.
You did?
The first fucking picture he's in, he's standing on the beach holding a rock.
Really?
I don't know what it is. Yeah, incredible. That, and number two, I don't know if you saw this weird ass show that was on before Labor of Love. It's like celebrities watching TV.
Yes, yes, I did.
Well, one of the last clips was celebrities watching Labor of Love. Yes. And there's a clip of Ozzy Osbourne when Alan gets the sperm trophy, and Ozzy says like, "Oh yeah, that looked great on the mantle." So we were asking last week, what do you do with the sperm trophy? Ozzy Osbourne wants one on the mantle.
Yeah,
so there we have it.
I love it. What a perfect way to end, dude. That is awesome. And I got to go find, I think it's that Philip. Is that is Moonrocks guy's name?
Yeah.
Is his name Philip? Okay. I got to go find his Instagram. But guys, we will see you next week on another fun episode of Labor of Love. Cheers, man. And good night, you guys.